going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Daily Rage Quit. I'm your host, Weiss, and alongside me, the one, the only, Steelman.
What's going on, y'all? Everyone hit that like and subscribe button. Drop a comment. Let us know which one you're going to play, Nomad, Corpo, or Street Kid. Hit us up. Let us know why.
And y'all know what we're going to talk about, something that actually gets us amped up about the video game industry. We're going to talk about today's video on Cyberpunk 2077, Night Cities Part 2 update. It was really cool, a lot of great things. We're trying to figure out whether if this is truly a video that is an upgrade to the platform or a downgrade to the game itself as they launched it. And there's three things that we've got to hit that they hit right in the video itself. The first thing is life paths. The second thing is the music. And last but not least, weapons. So Steve, I'm going to let you kick it off. Let's talk about life paths.
Yeah, so life paths is something that they've mentioned in previous videos. It's not something necessarily new, but we've kind of known for a while there's going to be Corpo, Street Kid, and Nomad. Although Nomad seemed to be getting them a little bit more attention lately. But anyways, yeah, maybe these aren't, they're not really, maybe it's that they're not revealing that much about it right now. Maybe they're trying to keep it a little secretive still. I do like the fact that they have three different paths, but the other part of this is that it just sounds like they're going to have the same missions regardless, like probably past like the first 10% of the game, because they keep talking about these missions, and as you go about them with different types of characters, there's different options for them. I'm just hoping that they're not minor options or minor changes that take place from the three different types, or that they're major. But what I see happening, and honestly is probably the easiest path, is that they're going to have three very different beginnings to the game. You play through a couple missions to get acclimated as whatever group you decide, and then you jump into the normal missions, and you have your normal missions that every character will have, depending on which one you play, or not depending on which one you play, I should say. So that for me is kind of like, it's not a level up or not a level down, it's kind of just in the middle for me. So that one didn't really surprise me.
I will say that it gets me leveled up. And the reason why I say that is because there's three different stories. Like Street Kid, you're coming from the ground and you're going and you're climbing your way up. You got the nomad life where it sounds like your family's in trouble or something happened and you're going into the city to fix something. And then you got the corporate life, which is, just like you being an executive and you see like pretty much the business infrastructure, probably how it just takes over the entire city. I just like the fact that as a gamer, you can emotionally connect to the character just a little bit more. So for me, as an example, I'm going Corpo. Simply because I think it's cool to be like a corporate executive and just become a killer out in the field. Dude, American Psycho, man. I'm gonna find my inner American Psycho and I'm just gonna go completely nuts in the game. But for other gamers, I think it's really cool that you get that chance to tie it into the story. And what I think might happen is that the people that you interact, depending on the story, you're going to have access to people that you may not have access to depending on which path you take. So at a corporate level, you may have access to weapon security clearance, whereas maybe in the Street Kid life, you have to break into the security clearance and vice versa. So there could be some cool play-ons. They're so methodical in how they think about game development that they're going to make it as interesting as possible, but there is a slight chance that they might just say, hey, first 10%, you kind of find out your story, but you're really just going to play the same missions over anyway.
Yeah, I hope it's not that. I by the way, I think I'm going to do like Nomad or Street Kid, but I'll probably end up playing all three of them, to be honest, if it's good enough, or at least the beginning parts of them, just to see what it's like, but yeah.
Now, the next part that they talked about in the update itself was the music. Now, we got a chance to hear a lot of the music. We got a chance to see what bands are there, so we know enough about it. But what was really cool is that, CD Projekt really went in a different direction and showed a music documentary. And I thought that was really cool. And this I considered an upgrade. Just simply because, as musicians are out there, they are creative souls, they're artists, and they don't really get told what to do. They make their music, and they like their music, they like their own sound. And, you maybe got an audio engineer in the background. It's like, hey, try and raise the pitch a little bit. We might need to redo that again. That's fine. But in this, they actually had to take a band who fit the genre of the band that Keanu Reeves is going to be in, which, by the way, how fucking cool is that? Keanu Reeves is not only in the game, but now he's an underground punk rock star. So let's just throw that out there. But showing the struggle of a musician trying to recreate a character's voice because their accent is off, I think is extraordinary. And that shows a level of perfection that CD Projekt is really putting into just the audio. Think about it. We're just talking about audio. Some games that are out there that are really great, the audio is okay, right? Or it's good. But they're looking for perfection. They're looking for great, something that matches the theme of the game itself and the characters it represents. That's why I think it's a true upgrade.
This one for me is going to be a down. So those keeping score, you're double up. I'm wash and then down. But yeah, this one's for me is going to be down. I honestly thought when they were hyping this up and they were bringing it in, I was like, oh man, Keanu Reeves is going to do soundtracks for the fucking game, and it's going to be ridiculous. We're going to have Keanu singing, and that's what they're going to show. And I was so ready for that when they were like, oh yeah, it's the Refused, and I was like, all right. But but I do agree that it was cool. It was unique to see their kind of their way of the hardships they're kind of going through. The guy looked super frustrated, by the way. He was just he looked like he wanted to murder the guy from CD Projekt Red, because he was the guy was telling him it wasn't good enough and his accent needed to change and stuff. And I could hear the frustration. You could tell they cut the clip. So they was just but it's okay. And you're just I know what he said before that was this fucking sucks. I want to kill him. Because, I mean, as an artist, you probably just want to do your thing, and then someone's there telling you it's not good enough, or you have to do it this way, and you got to do it better
Your
this way.
syllables are off.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for him. But again, this was another thing that was kind of we had already talked. We'd already seen that A$AP Rocky's and Grimes and all these other artists are going to be working on this. So for me, I was just kind of whatever. It's okay. So.
So, last but not least, we have weapons. And so, just a quick snippet. They showed a lot about weapons in this and gave us a very good insight on it. So, Steelman, I'll let you kick this one off, since you and I, by the way, team, Steelman and I don't always agree on everything. We do fucking get frustrated over the same things a lot, but sometimes we do disagree. But, Steelman, I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, this one's an up for me. So I'm at a wash. Whole video overall is a wash for me. But yeah, this one was a big up for me. I kind of at the beginning was kind of all right, we've seen all this stuff. I was waiting for them to move into this. But then they started to kind of show the weapon customization. And they do mention the two types, software and attachment. But I'll let you get into that a little bit more. But yeah, it was cool. There was a lot of customization that goes into the guns, not as much as a Call of Duty per se. I want to know how far that'll go. It looks like there are going to be ammunition types. Are there going to be muzzle brakes and suppressors? He did say that there were suppressors for some guns, etc. So are there going to be new barrels and stuff? Who knows how in depth that'll get? He mentions that they'll upgrade statistics and all that, But as we see, they talked about the smart weapons in the game. And the one thing, I thought it was cool. You're seeing somebody shoot off walls and ricochet behind walls and hit enemies in cover and blast through cover with certain sniper rifles. And then you see these weapons that are smart weapons, and they're shooting, the guy talks about shooting an 8-barrel shotgun that can take out a whole room worth of people. And I'm like, well, that's great the first time it happens. At what point is that all right, I'm just clearing out rooms and this is the easiest game on earth? And And after that, like I don't want it to be too OP. Like I mean, I want a challenge at the end of the day, and I think everyone does. Like you don't want to be on God mode and at a certain point, and like half the game is just on God mode because you're the best person in the room. But I'm really wondering what they're gonna do to balance that out, and that's what concerns me about this. Is assuming that you get these weapons late game after a lot of upgrades and upgrading the weapon. I really hope that the late game enemies aren't just giant bullet sponges, and you're just doing 300 damage to an enemy and he's still running around, and it takes 20 shots of 300 damage to take him down, and you're kind of like, all right, like the little numbers are popping up over the guy's head as they're just racking up damage, and they're just running around like everything's fine. That's a little bit concerning for me. Nothing crushes immersion more than little numbers appearing over people's heads as you shoot them. And it's something we've seen, and we just talked about this. We saw it earlier in the Cyberpunk previews and of gameplay. Yeah. That the little numbers popping over people's heads as they're getting shot. We haven't seen it in
shit out of me.
Yeah, no. And I'm not a fan either, obviously. But yeah, we didn't see any today. So one thing I am hoping for is that if they do have that, it's a mode that you can turn off. I would love for just the ability to turn the numbers off. I don't give a shit about the numbers. I don't care if I'm doing 300 damage or 10 damage. I'll figure out that the enemy's still alive after I shoot him and he's still running around. I don't need a number to tell me he's still fucking alive. So get rid of the fucking numbers. But one step further, Gorilla Arms, Mantis Arms, Monowire, Reinforced something. There's question mark because it ran off the screen. There's something next that they didn't show that they're going. Those things seem pretty cool. But yeah, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, I mean, so for the numbers thing, it's 100%. That needs to be a mode. You got to turn it off, because what they showed today, I thought was fucking awesome. It's an upgrade, obviously, for me. So I'm 3 for 3 because I'm a sucker, and I'm glass half full.
Scub.
I know, I got a little bit, just a tad, but lots of weapons, which we expect. Got it. Customization weapons. Got it. I actually really like the way in which we're customizing weapons. So you get a little bit of a feel. They mentioned the different types of weapons that are out there. So there's different companies making guns. So that's really cool. So you might have your own favorite company just because it commits to your play style, which I think is cool. And then not only are you customizing, scopes, you're customizing mags and all of that, but now you got the chips that you can put in. You can actually customize the software that goes into the gun, which I think really adds unique characteristics. And so that's for me, sometimes I always like playing with the same gun because it just feels good. And I wonder if I could take one gun that I start off with and I just love it, right? Let's say it's a pistol, it's badass. I wonder if I could play with that pistol the entire game all the way through and just completely upgrade it to a point where it's just boss at the end, right? I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, pow, 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 and I'm just annihilating people. I think that would be a really, really cool perspective in the game. We'll see, though, because they also talk about legendary guns, the ones that are super OP, right? These are the ones that are going to be the most interesting to get, because what they mentioned is it's not about just finding a treasure chest on the top of a fucking 10,000 foot mountain, right? You actually need to, these guns are possessed by people within the environment, the AI, and some of the people that you may want to take the gun from are people that you've played through the game with from an AI perspective, maybe for 25, 30 hours. You have time vested in them because you've done their missions, you've got some sort of status with them, so it gives you access to all these different points. But you want this badass shotgun that's going to dismember people left and right, so you got to kill that person. I think that makes it tough from a choice perspective, and a tough choice, but I think that's fun. Because now it plays with your mind a little bit. You're emotionally attached to the game, and it's like, how emotionally attached are you to those people? For me, I don't give a shit. If I want a shotgun that's going to blow off people's heads, or dude, the fucking katana, man, the thermal katana, just slicing people up, or even the cyborg arms, where, by the way, in the video, it's just like, and then all of a sudden the head pops off, arms pop off, and it's just the body options, and the upgrades are just infinite. So let's hope that happens.
Yeah, I love the gorilla arms, man. You see something that was cool, and one of them is he goes up to a turret and he just grabs the turret and he breaks it and then pulls the gun out of it and starts using it. I was like, well, that's a pretty unique way of doing stuff. That was cool, and the mantis arms seemed kind of cool too. When he
dude, what about the
guy?
What about the takedown when he grabs a dude and just like winds up and punches him in the face? Like,
right in the face.
We haven't seen a lot of takedowns in the game. But, like, you saw, like, the one with the mantis arms and it just rips a dude up into the sky. You saw, like, the punch to the face. I think there's going to be some cool melees, which we had an episode about that on Battlefield. I hope they really take this to a different level. Like, can you imagine, like, a takedown with every single gun where it's just like, uh-oh, here it comes. And then you have, like, the 8-barrel shotgun where you just shove it in their mouth and just blow it out of the back of their head and take out the rest of the room. I think that would be – I'm too much into this game now. I'm already stoked about it. So Steelman, from an overall perspective, you said that this game update for Cyberpunk 2077 is a wash.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was a wash. I just, there were some good things, some bad things in the middle. I was just in the middle about the whole thing. The weapons were definitely a highlight, going in more in depth in those, but yeah.
And for me, team, as you can tell, I'm super fucking amped, and it's all the way up to the top. I'm fucking raging right now. Thank you all tuning in for another episode of the Daily Rage Quit. Be sure to subscribe down below. We want to keep the videos going. Make sure you like or dislike. We'll make sure if you like our shit or not.
Yeah, and drop some comments. Like, subscribe, drop comments. We do want to really hear like what you guys want to play. Which one are you going for right out of the box? I'm going to do all three of them, but I'll probably do Nomad, and Weiss is going to do Corpo. So let us know. Drop that in the comments. But from all of us at the Daily Rage Quit,
peace.